Okay, everybody, I am so excited today because I am joined by Lauren LaVera, aka Sienna in Terrifier 2. We're going to be talking spoilers about the film, so make sure you watch the film first, then come to this interview. Lauren, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to talk to you about this film that's just like sleeper hit everybody's talking about. So I'm honored to be talking to the star of it. Now, put me in your shoes though for a second. When you got the part of this role, did you watch Terrifier 1 before you got the part or after? And were you kind of like, what am I getting myself into here?
Uh, no, I did not watch it before I got the part. I probably should have, but I was aware of it. I knew it existed, and I saw the poster on Netflix, and I remember seeing like Dave in the Art the Clown getup in on the poster, being like, "Oh my god, that looks awesome!" And I've had people before I knew about it was like, "Oh, you got to watch Terrifier. It's really cool," because they know I love horror, and I just never got around to doing it. But then I had my first self tape where I did it home with my coach, and I didn't have the time to watch it then. And by my callback came around, I didn't get the time to watch it then. And then I had my in-person audition, and I had the time to watch it, but then I kept receiving the callbacks. So I was like, all right, well, I guess they like what I'm doing, and I don't want to watch
Hmm.
the film because maybe it'll like persuade my choices. So I decided not to watch the film, and I watched it the same day I found out I was cast. And I
Wow.
Yep.
That's great story. Yeah, that makes sense to wait for it too. I like that. And what's interesting too, and I notice you're rocking it right now, is that septum piercing. I love that thing. But what I want to bring that up is because I like that the character of Sienna wears it and we see it, which you don't see much in TV. You see a lot of actors with it, but not in the character. So how did that, was that like a hard choice? Like, did you have to convince someone to do that? Because I like it and I feel like it was something brave in a sense.
I love that question. You're the first person to ever ask me that question. I actually never do my self tapes or my auditions showing my septum piercing. I
Mm.
usually fuck it up because, like I've done it a couple times. I went in a casting office a couple times and got a little berated by the casting director. They were like, "Don't wear that, tuck that up," and I was just like, "All right, fine." But then I think Damien saw me with it, and he was the one that was like, "Keep that. I like that."
Ah, okay.
And I was like, so I didn't have to convince anybody. They just liked it. Damien liked it. So I was like, cool. Like I get to bring a part of myself to Sienna, which I'm always trying to do with my characters, find a part of myself and inject it in the character. So it was very cool to be able to keep.
Oh, hell yeah. I like that. And yeah, it totally just worked as a character choice. I thought it was great. And I also, you just mentioned that you like to have part of yourself in the character. I'm wondering then, how much of yourself did you find in Sienna? What kind of spoke to you a lot?
Well, the fun thing is my very first audition, my very first scene was between Sienna and Barb. So Sienna and her mom.
Mm,
And she was, I mean, at this time being raised by a single mother, and I was raised by a single mother.
yeah,
And my first audition was a bit of like a argumentative scene, which me and my mom have had plenty of those. So it
mm,
was very easy to like align with Sienna like almost immediately.
sure.
I've been in this situation before. I know what this is like. So definitely relationships, the relationships she has with her friends and the relationship she has with her mom are the closest to home for me. I mean, I have the best friends in the world. No one would ever drug me like Brooke does. But we love each other in the same way that Sienna loves her friends.
Oh, I like that answer. And yeah, I like you mentioned relationships because I think that's another underrated thing about this film is how good the relationships are. And it's a props to you and your co-stars for sure. I also love this Clown Cafe Nightmare sequence. So is this song still in your head today as it is mine when I watched the movie recently? How did you go down so smoothly a slide backwards?
Oh, I was so excited to go down that slide. I don't know if that was a direction or if I was like, can I go down the slide? It was very like we were all kind of doing things on the fly, which I really appreciated. And that's what I love about working with this crew and Damien. They're just very loose and willing to try new things, and they take your thoughts to heart, and I love that.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, the nightmare scene, Clown Cafe. You know what, man? I haven't had that stuck in my head for a while, and it might be because I've known about it way longer than everybody else. But
Sure.
initially, initially, when I first heard it, I was like, this is a bop. I love this. And I was constantly like, we were all, the entire crew was like, food's a little funny. And also a lot of the crew members were in the nightmare scene. Like Faye, for example, they have like the really cool blonde streak in their hair. They pulled focus for the film, and it was
Oh,
cool to
wow.
be in the film. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And a couple other people too, but we were all just singing that freaking song, but not so much anymore. I think I'm desensitized to it. Sorry for you
Oh,
guys, but I'm past
okay.
it
But
now.
that's good. It gives me hope that eventually it
Oh
will
yeah.
get out of my head eventually. But it's
Okay.
great. A
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
great song, catchy as hell. I love it.
Yeah.
Now, also, one of my favorite scenes in this film, and I like that it's actually creating some gifs and memes for, is in the Halloween store with Art and Sienna, and Art's making these faces to Sienna. Did you ever break character during that? And was he doing a lot more stuff we didn't even see? Like, was there a lot of improvising kind of going on in that?
There was a tremendous amount of improv. And again, that's a testament to Damien as a director. He was very loose with his actors, and he was very like willing to let us play, and I loved that. And Dave is like an improv master. He's so great at like pulling stuff out and just always giving you something new each take. I'm trying to wonder if I did actually break, because that was a very long day. I think I
Mm.
was exhausted by the time I got to that scene. So to be fair, I don't think I broke, because I just wanted to like get through it. And also that was a crazy day because I had like an audition. Oh no, I had to do a commercial in Philadelphia, and we had filmed at Abracadabra in New York. So I didn't get any sleep, and we had an overnight that night. So I had to drive from New York to Philly to do another job immediately. So I had no sleep that day for like 2 days. So I don't think I broke, because my mind was like, oh shit, I have so much to do today. Let me just get through this. Let's just get through this. But I would have if I was at a different mindset, because Dave is hilarious.
So the exhaustion helped you stay in character. So it's kind of a good thing you were a little tired. So way to
Oh.
use that for character. I like that. Now, we also see, I actually like Sienna's room a lot because she's got a lot of these like different pictures on her wall, and there's a lot of detail to it. Did you get to pick some of the items in her room, and how much did that kind of help you just being in there, getting the mindset of Sienna in this character?
Yeah, let me take a moment to talk about Olga Turka, who did the set design and wardrobe. She designed that entire, because that was a set, that wasn't a real room. She designed that
Oh, wow.
entire room. Yeah, like it was a set. And we didn't have a set for every room, but that was one of the sets that wasn't a real room, that was built
Mm,
and created from scratch. And
sure.
I think most artists again like to inject themselves in the room, and she did that. And she has this wonderful eye and this wonderful style, so she was able to read the script, see what Sienna's like, inject some of herself, and she asked me to bring some of my own belongings to make it feel
Mm.
more like me. So I definitely brought some knickknacks, I brought some little like trinkets or some clothes, and I also brought my own pictures of myself as a baby
Oh,
wearing.
wow.
Yeah, yeah, there's actually a moment where Sienna had just got done having a panic attack, and she looks at herself, or she looks at pictures of herself as a baby, and there's pictures of me as a baby wearing wings, because I used to wear wings constantly as a baby because I wanted it to
Oh
be
my God.
Halloween time. So it was pretty serendipitous and like a little wild that that was that ended up in the film. But yeah, definitely got to bring my own things.
Yeah, there's your little Lauren LaVera Easter eggs in the film. I'm gonna have to rewatch and catch all those.
Yeah, you'll
Um,
really see me as a baby. It's pretty wild.
that's cool. Also too, there's this, I mean, really disturbing stuff happens with Sienna's friend Allie.
Mm,
Allie just misses your phone call just a little late.
yeah.
But with such a gruesome death scene like that, does Lauren herself, like, what are you feeling as queasy watching that scene as we are? Are you one of those people? Or are you kind of like, yeah, give me more? Like, what is your reaction to that?
That's definitely one of my favorite scenes, because I, of course, read the script first. And I remember when I first got to that scene, I was like, wait, what? And I had to go back and read it. Like I must have read it 5 times in a row, because I couldn't like wrap my head around what I was reading. And especially the thing that hit me the most was when she lifts her head and says, Mom. I think I actually started tearing up, because it like
Mm,
it struck me so much. I was like, holy God, what the hell is happening? But I think the thing that struck me the most was how it literally felt like Damien lifted that scene from the script and just threw it on screen, because it was exactly how I pictured it from reading it from the script. So I think when I watch it, I'm not so much queasy as I am in awe of the artistry that went into it. And I'm just so impressed with all the hard work everybody involved put into it, and they achieved exactly what I imagined. So I'm just in awe when I see it.
Yeah, I actually like that answer a lot too, because that is the feeling I get watching that, and that like her mom seeing her still alive in that state, and it adds to that higher art of and making it really terrifying too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So really smart answer. And I'm also interesting too, because this is such a disturbing, heavy film. It's not just visually disturbing, but there's heavy duty backstory for the character of Sienna. I mean, we learned that her father killed himself and was abusive towards the end, lost his mind a bit. Are you able, for a role like this, knowing that character arc and backstory, like, is it easy for you to snap in and out of such a dark space? And also being on a set of a very disturbing movie, like, was that tough for you?
I think for the most part, it was challenging, but it wasn't too bad. There were definitely moments like I remember, because when you're on set with like a really small crew, you all like tend to joke around, you all tend to like kind of like waste a little bit of time. But there were moments when I thought we were about to film, and I would get myself to a place and I would start thinking the thoughts of the character. That's what really helps me. I create a world for the character, and I start to think the thoughts that I think the character would think. And there was a moment where I was getting to this dark place, and I think Damien saw it, and I'll never forget it because I appreciated it so much. And everyone was kind of fucking around, which, you know, they do sometimes, not a big deal. And Damien saw that I was like there, and he was like, all right, Lauren's ready, let's go. Like, he was like, everybody stop, let's go. And I really appreciated that, because like he could have just let everybody keep talking and, you know, screw around, which is totally fine. But he saw that I was ready. So he was able to like, we all really listened to each other, which I really appreciated. It was like a lot of communication, and it was really a collaborative experience.
Yeah, I like you mentioned the collaborative experience, as you had talked about too with the production design, costume design. That's great too. And I also like you just mentioned about thinking as your character's thoughts, and I totally see that in your performance. So props to you, because that shows on your face when you're acting. So really, that's great to hear that you're thinking like that too, because it shows. And I'm also wondering too, this amazing moment that we see, the satisfying moment to me in the film, where Sienna slices Art's head off. But it comes off incredible. And of course, the special effects are awesome, but your acting too brings it to life. So when you were making that though, and that you filmed that scene, I don't know if you filmed in order or not, but was there a moment ever on set where you were like, okay, we're making magic here, or that you would think even that it would become this kind of hit?
So that's a good question, because I think I believed in the script pretty early on. I believed in it pretty quickly. And Damien likes to tell this story, and it's actually that same day. He's often told this story because people have asked him in interviews, like, what's your favorite moment on the set? And I love that he remembers this moment, because I was freezing. We filmed that in February on the East Coast in a basement. It was grimy. I was wet. I was half naked. I was covered in gook, covered in mud, covered in blood. And Damien, he's exhausted. He hasn't gotten any sleep. And then he looks at me, and I'm just like smiling. And I'm uncomfortable, no doubt, and like miserable, but I'm smiling at him. And he's like, oh, okay, like she's in a different place, which I in that moment was ready to go. I was like, yeah, something special. And I think I believe in you, and I believe in everybody else here, and let's fucking do this. And he got that just from a smile. And he tells this story often, and I love that he remembers it, because like I kind of forgot about it until he brought it up. But like there were those moments that we would all silently kind of look at each other like, all right, let's get to work, because we want to tell this story and we're having a great time doing it.
Yeah, and I think what I'm learning about you today too is you're really good at like taking whatever current environment you're in and bringing it to the scene, bringing that feeling, mood. So that's cool. That's great. Just advice for upcoming actors too. Hell yeah. So also, you are in such a special scenario that not many people can say there, where you're breaking out right now. You're getting all this like just attention. It's great, and success. But, most people, it might be like, oh, I can show my family. It's like a rom-com I'm breaking out in. This type of film, like, can you go and sit and watch with grandma? Or like, is it just like, oh, I'll just trust your word of mouth about it? Like, how have you experienced that with friends, family? Like, is it something where some of them just can't see it because it's too much?
Fair enough. I've had some people in my life that are like, oh, I really want to see it. And I'm like, do you know what it's about? Like, do you know? And they're like, oh, that's just a horror film, right? And I'm like, yeah, but it's gory. And they're like, oh, and I'm like, it's gory. And they're like, okay. So I feel like I've told some people, like, I don't want them to watch it if it's not their thing. Like, I don't want them to be offended. So there have been a couple people that are like, I want to support you. And I'm like, you don't have to. It's okay. But also on the flip side of that, I've had some friends that do not like horror, but they're like, we're going to the theaters right now. I took a friend on opening night and she was so loud. Like, she was so loud. Like, she was like, look. I was like, please, oh my God. I didn't want people to know I was there. I was like, please stop, please stop. She was like, my best friend. It was so funny. But yeah, I've had both ends of the spectrum. People that are like, you know what, maybe I'll skip this one and congratulations. And other people that don't even like horror were so gung-ho about it. They were just so excited for me. So yeah.
Yeah, no, hell yeah, that's good. That's, everyone, if your friends in something like this, you go support, you push through.
Yes, true.
Now I just want to bring up too, before I let you go, because it's amazing just watching, obviously, the publicity of this film, the success it's become, and the praise to your great performance, and rightfully so. But what blew me away was that you tweeted a picture of a tattoo someone got of Sienna. You got Stephen King's approval. You got Mike Flanagan's approval mere hours ago, and you're 34 on the IMDb star meter. So I'm telling you that means you are a legendary horror final girl. You did it. You made it. So do you feel like you're just going to like spontaneously combust now? How do you even process this? And have you given yourself a moment to pat yourself on the back, for Christ's sake?
No, I haven't. Oh gosh, thank you. Thank you for reminding me of all of those things. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I actually had a bit of a cry earlier over Mike Flanagan's tweet because I love him and I love to work with him. Like, I was just like, oh my God, like, it didn't sink in that like he cared enough to watch it and say nice words about my performance. So that was probably the first time I cracked a bit, because this entire time it hasn't felt real. But today I cried. Like, I mean, I just gave myself about a minute or two and I was like, okay, I got shit to do today. I'll cry about this more later. So there are definitely moments, and even talking to fans, I think talking to fans have felt the most like, oh my God, this is so special because this connects with so many people. And I'm so grateful for all the other things, Stephen King and Mike Flanagan, but it's really the fans that have made this experience the most special and most wonderful time of my life. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And it is special. It's a special film. It's a special performance. And I think what's the magic of movies is that we're going to feel now attached to your character, attached to your performance. And in a sense, we feel more attached to you as an actor. So we get excited for, okay, what's she going to do next? So is there anything you can kind of plug or anything you're excited about just in your life? Podcasts, shows, movies, anything that you might be doing next?
Yeah, I just got out of some meetings today. I have even more next week. A lot of offers, a lot of scripts sent my way. I'm very excited about it. Yeah, and they're all over the place in terms of genre. You'd think it would be all horror, but it's really not. And which is exciting because you are sometimes like, oh, am I going to get pigeonholed? Which would be fine because I do love horror. But like I'm seeing range on coming into my email, so I'm really excited about that. But I can't really talk about a lot because I've signed some NDAs. However, I did do a film a couple months ago with Bill Moseley. It's called The Fetus. I play his daughter. Bill Moseley's amazing. He was the main reason I wanted to work on the film because he's just incredible. But everybody else was really wonderful. Julian Curtis, who plays my boyfriend in the film, and all the other cast and crew were just phenomenal. So that's one thing I can talk about for now.
Yeah, that's exciting. I can't wait to see that. Is that a horror film too, or is it different genre? Horror,
no,
nice.
It's more, I think it's even more body horror too. So
oh, cool.
Who knows?
Yeah, can't wait. And I can't wait for all the future projects and those emails to turn to amazing things. Can't wait. Everybody, tell your friends about Terrifier 2. Watch it again. Bring people to the theater. Let's just make this thing keep going and ride this successful train and watch Lauren kill it. Lauren, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to talk to you in the future.
Steve, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure.